Welcome back to the Fearless Females Voice podcast. On today's episode, I am joined by my amazing cousin, Aneeka Gohil. From a young age, Aneeka has always led the way and taken control of what she wanted. She started her career in finance and became chartered to only then realise she has a huge passion, which is travelling. She left her job and ended up travelling around the world on her own for 10 months. She then returned back to London, got herself another job, only to find her travel bug was still itching. She then left her job again and decided to go and live and work in Australia. She has just got back to the UK 3 weeks ago, and boy am I happy to have her here. Aneeka is extremely courageous and daring and defines living life to the max. She has accomplished so much, grown as a confident, independent woman, and is a role model to many. On this episode, she talks about building her career, what made her go travelling, what she gained from her trips abroad, how she keeps her positive mindset, and tips on how to dig deep and truly find your inner peace. This is a really inspiring episode, so without further ado, let's get stuck in. So, Aneeka, tell me, what does being a fearless female mean to you?
So, for me personally, I think being a fearless female is not really letting anyone's opinions or what they think or how they think you should be living your life affect what you do and how what you do with your life, and not letting their fears and their doubts project onto you. Because I feel like a lot of people worry about what other people think, and there's a lot of pressure in society, and I just feel like doing what you want to do and just really finding out and knowing what you want to do is important, and going with it and not letting fear get in the way, which is hard, and I'm constantly working on that, but getting there each day.
Oh, I like that. I feel like I'm working on that too, so there you go.
Yeah.
So tell us a bit about yourself.
So where do I start? So let's start with career.
Okay.
I started out actually in media. So I did a degree in media and TV production, and I became a reporter. And I wasn't a reporter, so I was a camera person for a reporter, and did that for about 3 years. And media was something that I loved, and I really enjoyed it. I didn't really think about my career and what I wanted to do that far ahead. I just was doing what I enjoy. And so I did that, and then did it for about 3 years, and kind of felt like I needed a bit of a change. I needed to do something with more progression. And after speaking to my reporter, her husband's a lawyer, and just we got chatting a lot about my future and what else I could do, I found finance. I know it's like completely 180 from what I've done before, but I was just like, okay, finance, yeah, but do I need a degree? And he was like, no, you can probably start from scratch and do a qualification. And all these things were running in my mind. Okay, but how do I do that? How can I get employed? How am I going to explain to an employer that I have media experience and I want to get into finance? And so I was just, after a lot of research, I kind of was like, okay, I think I've just got to go for it and try it out and see. And I started out by, I was like, to show my commitment, I'm going to start exams and start the Chartered Accountant qualification. And then from there, it just kind of, I got into it. I started volunteering at a practice, and for like 3 months, and that got me a job, and that got me then employed by an events agency, which is great because I'm still kind of in the media creative space, but in finance. Yeah. And 4 years later, I was chartered, and now I'm a commercial manager. Well, I haven't got a job right now, but
we'll go
going
into
to be, we'll go into that. So yeah, that is my career side. Personally,
just a couple of questions.
Yeah.
So as you were in media, and yes, you said media is very different to finance. What was that trigger moment? Did you explore many options, or was it just someone saying, oh, there's finance, and you kind of diving a bit deeper into that?
I think for me, I had to look at what I really enjoyed in school, and all the things that I was good at. So I was always good at maths, and I think that's what lent me to finance a bit more. I've always enjoyed problem solving, and just thought that it kind of works with me well, and I think I'd be really good at it. But I've just never really, I don't think I believed within myself as much when I was younger, and I kind of just went with the flow and just landed in media. So maybe if I put some thought into that, I was just too young, so I didn't really know exactly what I wanted to do. So it took me a little while. And it took me paying for my degree and coming out of it to then realise that, which is fine.
You know what, it's all fine. Like I feel like even when I was in school, and when you're at that moment where it's like, okay, what subjects do I do? what do you want to do after college? What degree do you want to do? And I'm just thinking, I don't know. Like, I have no idea.
Yeah,
and
you're too
like,
young.
Yeah, it's like, am I thinking ahead to what career I want? I'm just thinking, oh, I enjoy this, I enjoy that, so let's just merge that together and boom. Like, that's how I got engineering. It was maths and science combined together.
Yeah.
So I completely get that. And even now, I feel like careers are very kind of... I feel like you're still striving to understand what you really want to do, even after having done a short stint in something. Like, it's always a learning curve.
Yeah, I think knowing what you want to do comes with time and comes with age and comes with experience. And doing that at 18, something that I'm going to be doing for the rest of my life, which is not usually what happens, nowadays.
Yeah.
But I just didn't know that, so which was fine with me. But obviously, you get a few opinions and a few family members or friends that are like, "Are you sure? Is this the right thing?" And you've just got to really think for yourself.
Yeah.
What do I want to do, and what is going to benefit me? You only know yourself,
So how did you deal with those comments from any family or friends saying, "Oh, you're doing firstly media, and then you're changing from media to finance"?
Well, I'm lucky that my family are really, really supportive, and they've literally just... That's one thing I'm really appreciative of. They've let me do what I want. I think my mum and dad would tell you that I've been a rebel since I was younger, and I never really... If they told me to do something and I just really did not want to do it, I wouldn't do it. To a certain extent, obviously, within reason, but they've always just let me do what I want to do and let me lead my own path. So that really helped. But with other people, I didn't really listen that much. I really took a lot of time to think to myself and try not to ask people about that. I didn't ask for your opinion, so you don't need to tell me how I should be living my life, so that comes within.
That's nice, because I do feel like many people who take an unconventional route, let's say, they sometimes get either challenged or questioned about it, mainly through family and friends. And that could be with anything, not just taking that route, but also making a change in their life or doing something a bit different. So there's always that kind of...
And it's their fears. It's their fears projecting onto you, so you just got to remember that sometimes. It comes from a place of love, but they're scared for you, and they want success for you, but you know what success is to you, so you've just got to really work on finding that out.
Exactly, couldn't agree more. So how did your exams go then?
They went well. It was a struggle. They're really hard, and for me, because I'd done media and I'd not had exams, I was doing coursework and project work, so for me, sitting in that exam hall was so stressful and so nervous, but I had first time passes, which was really good, and I did it in a quick amount of time. Even when I was actually at my course, I remember speaking to people that had done accountancy degrees and were still behind me, so I was literally trying to get through it quickly. I was like, I don't want to be spending 10 years doing this. I just want to get them over and done with, and I know where I want to be, and it was nice having that goal and just working towards that. Also, which we'll come on to, there's a bit of me wanting to travel afterwards, and I think that was like my motivator. I remember revising and sitting there with my book and actually planning out a trip that I didn't know when I was going to do it, but I was just like, okay, this is where I'm going to go. Instagram started then, so I was looking at all these solo backpackers and being like, all right, I want to do what you do. This is my motivation for when I finish, and getting it done really quickly. And speaking to you, of course, because you've done that.
What about
early.
travel?
Yeah, about travel. Yeah, I think so. That's the other part. So you're asking me more about me, and travel. I think when I was introduced to travel with my ex-boyfriend. I think as a family we've had a few trips, but we didn't actually we didn't get to travel as much. And I really started traveling when I started going out with my ex, and we explored different cultures, and I got really excited and really enjoyed it. And however, it was like 5-star luxury style living. Holiday, and that's great, and I really enjoyed it, but I just felt like I wanted more from this experience. I wanted to do things alone. It was always with him or with someone else, and I had this urge. And I think when I started speaking to you, and you went on your solo trip like 10 years way before anyone else did, and I just didn't really relate at that point. And it's only afterwards that I was like, oh my god, yeah, I can come to you for that. I started realising that this is something that I want to do. And so my exams, like during my exams, I would research, and that's all I'd be thinking about, and I guess like manifesting that. And which at the end of my exams, we actually broke up, and that was my I think we would have never gone on a trip together like that, because he just didn't want to go to hostels, or
he didn't want to stay or live the same way that I did when I travelled. And I think after speaking to you, it's just something that I really wanted to do. And, you know, just it happened so that, circumstances led me to do that afterwards, which is great.
I love that I was able to inspire you with the solo travel, because I remember coming to your house before you went on your first trip, which we'll talk about in a minute, and talking to your mum, and I remember her saying, no, I'm not going to let her go. She can't go by herself. Yeah, I remember that. She was quite against it. And
she didn't tell me that.
She
knew that I'd go.
I think it wasn't so much against it, but I remember her saying, like, in the end, they're obviously going to be like, yeah, it's fine. But it's almost the fear element of she's going to be out there by herself, fending for herself. And it is a scary concept for a parent, because my parents, like, as much as they were happy for me to go, the fear element was always there. And it's only until later on that I found out just how nervous my mum was about me going by myself to all these different countries. Like, she puts on a brave face.
How old were you when you first went?
I was 20 when I first went.
Oh my God.
So quite some time ago.
Yeah.
But that was my first ever trip, and to be fair, since then I've been doing it every year almost.
Yeah.
And I just love it.
You get the bug.
Absolutely. Like, you get the bug, but you almost kind of find yourself in every trip, and it really helps you grow up.
Yeah.
Quickly.
It helps you grow up, and it's just a reset, isn't it? I think,
Absolutely.
Like, I mean, I can talk about travel for ages, as you know.
Yeah.
But
so can I.
There's so many benefits to it, which I guess we'll come on to as well. Of like just going alone and having these experiences, which
So then tell us about this first trip that you were planning whilst you were working as well.
Yeah.
So what happened with that? What did you do?
So obviously we broke up, me and my ex, and that was my kind of... So I always knew that I was going to go on some sort of trip, even if we were together. But it maybe would have been a month. So I was kind of planning a month trip and what I could do in that month, you know. And then when we broke up, I was like, right, I'm doing this big now. this is exciting. And I think I wasn't chartered yet or qualified, so I knew that I needed to save up a certain amount as well. Mm-hmm. So I had a time frame of, 8 months, and I'm going to go on this trip. So I booked the flight. And everyone was like, oh, that's the scariest bit. And I was like, no, it's not, because I had 8 months to then think about it and then just really scare myself into everything that can go wrong. But then you helped with that as well. So I booked the trip, I think, for October, and then from Jan I was just planning and speaking to you, looking at YouTube. There's so many of these solo female travellers on there that literally go through every little thing, and obviously you've been, and just trying to not let other people's fears and doubts get to me, because I think a lot of them, they said even things like, oh, I wouldn't be able to do that, I don't know how you're going to do, those sort of things. I know they're saying it in I think you're brave, but also it's just like instilling that fear into me, like, oh, what am I actually doing? Like, I'm just leaving everything and going. Yeah. And also the whole career bit. So I just qualified, so they thought that leaving at that time is maybe a bad idea, and maybe I should get a job, but I was like, I don't know where I'm going to be in the next 2 years and what my life is going to be like. It's always going to be hard to leave and, leave your job and then have to come back and start again.
Absolutely.
And I think after speaking to also my employer, and just, he was really good to chat to, because he was very positive about, my next job. And he's like, this is what people want. They want someone that is confident and has experiences. It's going to benefit you. So I think that really helped as well, like massively, for me to just be okay with going and like prepare myself mentally.
Yeah. This is the whole thing about being afraid again, isn't it? It's almost like, I completely understand when it comes to your career, it's almost like you get to that crossroads of, okay, do I want to push and continue on and try something new, to have a new role or whatever the case is, promotions and whatnot, or do I want to follow my heart and do something that's more like travel, or something that's a different kind of lifestyle, different path, which may all lead to the end position at the end, right? You just don't know, but it's almost like, where do you want to go? So what made you, I guess, choose that path?
I think I just wanted to work on me. I felt like in order for different aspects of my life to improve, I needed to really work on myself, and also just get away from my life, because I guess like I said before, everyone has an opinion, or your family, for example, have known how you're like since you're younger, and what you've been like, and they still see you that way, and you end up behaving that way because they see you that way. So you just need to completely get away and be by yourself, and really realize, okay, what am I like when I haven't got all these external factors or people influencing me, and that's the best thing about it. I think that's what led me to go there, because I was just like, I just want to do this. I want to learn more about myself. I want to meet new people. I'm really interested in the way they live as well. I'm really like,
same,
inspired and just curious about the way people live, because I feel like I've been brought up a certain way, and it might not be the way that I want to live, but just finding that out from different people and just different cultures is quite interesting to me. So I wanted that, I wanted to change and grow. Yeah. And I feel like that would have helped every aspect of my life, from relationships to jobs to just family, friends, everything. If I'm a better person, I can help others and help, be a better person for my family. If I haven't grown, I don't think I could have done all these things that I've done now.
Nice. And what would you say to someone who's like, oh, I'm too far in my career or too old to do this kind of thing?
Oh, I'd never say too old, because I continually think that I will forever be. I think every 3 years I have a bit of like an itch where I'm just like, okay, I need a bit of a change. Everything's getting a bit normal now. My mum knows it as well. She's just like, what are you doing? Why aren't you settling down? No. But I think that you can't let these things get to you. If you've got something that you want to do, you will find a way to get back on your feet and get a job. I've left my job twice. I went to Australia. I've just come back from Australia 3 weeks ago, unfortunately, to this weather.
With a nice tan, might I add.
Yeah. And I left again. I knew that it's going to be hard coming back and getting a job. I didn't know that COVID was going to happen, so it might be a little bit harder, but you just have to do it and just stay positive. And, I've got connections, I've got friends that can help, and that there is a way. And if you really want something and you really put all your energy into it, it will happen. And obviously not everyone's circumstances are the same as mine. So I'm lucky enough to be able to come back to a family home that I can stay, and, stuff like that. So I can't, or, I haven't got as many responsibilities. So I totally get that some other people's circumstances might stop them. But if you feel like it's only your fears and people's opinions stopping you, then I just think you just need to go. You need to really figure out what you want to do and just go for it, because you're only going to regret things that you don't do.
Yeah, I completely agree. Yeah. And this is really, really good advice. And how I take it is, it's not just for quit your job and go travel. It applies to everything. Yeah, anything and everything.
Not everyone wants to travel, and I've understood that, and I've tried to bang the drum to people, but it's not everyone's passion.
Yeah.
But it's just about finding out what you want to do and what you like doing.
Yeah.
And because that's what's going to drive you.
Yeah. Couldn't agree more. So then back to those 8 months of planning. How did you find that, and what was going through your head as that deadline of the flight was becoming closer and closer?
I don't think I told many people about it, because I just wanted to process it myself. I think people knew that I was going to go at some point, but I couldn't tell my work, obviously.
Yeah.
And I didn't want it to get out. But a lot of that was just Googling and just trying to plan as much as possible. I was trying to, you had told me this as well. You go there and you just go with the flow. You don't have to plan too much, and you meet different people and your plans will change. So you can't. There's only so much that you can plan. But obviously, just me being me, I was like, okay, I want that. I've never done this before, so I just need to, in my head, be like, I've got a little bit sorted out. In the end, it didn't work out, because I had booked flights that I didn't get on, because my trip got extended somewhere else, and all this sort of stuff. But it was fine. You just got to let that go. But it was just a lot of, I think, excitement and okay, this is actually really happening. How can I make this the best that it can be? And
I love it. Good positive vibes there.
Yeah, just trying to stay positive, because obviously there's a lot of doubt and a lot of fear, but just trying to speak to the right people and knowing who you're speaking to before getting advice from people. I came to you a lot because I know that you've been through it, and I know that you've got a positive outlook on it. So I was just like, okay, this is going to help me. And there's just so many silly questions, isn't there? I remember asking you how does it work? How do you meet people? I don't get it. I don't get how you just walk into a place and just meet people and have friends. And you were like, yeah, but Aneeka, you're so sociable, you're so friendly. And I was like, yeah, but I still don't get it in my head, new people.
It's a hard concept to get your head around. For those who haven't done it, it's almost like you're entering a room and you're making friends with people who you've never met from around the world.
But they're all in the same boat. And that's the thing. That's the big, you're not walking into a workplace where, that's obviously different. You make work friends, but you're not walking into somewhere where people have different priorities. And this is everyone wants to meet people. A lot of people are traveling alone.
Yeah.
So you make friends so easily. It's so hard, I know, because I've tried to tell people, but again, it's hard until you actually do it.
Yeah. It's easier for some rather than others,
Yeah.
which is all fine. But even those who aren't as kind of willing to put themselves out there, someone will approach you. Like there's just the amount of times where I'm just like, I just want to sit by myself and do nothing for like an hour.
So many times.
And someone will come up and be like, hey, where are you from? And I'm like, oh, here we go. Hey.
I had that. I remember going to, I just needed a bit of, that's the thing, it's so funny, isn't it? Like, I met so many people and I was just a bit peopled out.
Yeah.
And then one day it was nighttime and my beach hut was like, my hostel was like a beach hut vibe, and I was like, I'm going to go read in this little hut where no one can see me. And this guy managed to find me and it was dark and I was just like, oh my God, like what? I just want to read alone. But it's so true. Like even me, I really notice the people that are a little bit quiet, a little bit shy. You know, you can get a vibe if you go up to them and they don't want to chat to you, you know, that they just want their own space, that's fine.
Yeah.
But some people are actually quite shy and just won't ever come and approach you. So I think people that don't have that and are a bit more confident will go up to these people, and you find, I think it's that's the mentality in the hostels, and from what I've had, and it's helped massively.
Same experiences for me.
Yeah.
So where did you go in your first travel trip, which was how long again? 8 months?
It was 10 months.
10 months.
Yeah.
Okay.
I started out in Australia, and I was just supposed to go to Australia in terms of that region, and then just go straight to Asia. And then I remember I arrived in Melbourne and went to a hostel, and there was like this there's always a travel desk, you know, or a travel girl that helps you book tours and whatever you want. And I went up to her and I literally was like, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what to do with my day. I don't know what I like doing. And she was just like, right, okay, first of all, you have to go to New Zealand. I was like, okay. So we booked a trip to New Zealand, and she was like, and you're near Fiji, so you might as well go to Fiji. And I was like, all right, cool. And then, so I did that. I literally just changed plan completely, then came back to Australia, did a bit of that. And then I went to Asia and did quite a lot of the Asian countries, like the usual, Thailand, Malaysia, Bali, all that sort of stuff, and didn't want to come home. And I think I told my sister, because I'm a bit more like with my money, I wasn't that fussed. I know that money that I had for this trip could have been a deposit for a house, you know, and I kind of had to just let that go and be like, this is really important to me, and that will come afterwards, and I will work towards that again. And I told my sister to stop me when I've got like 1,000 left. Okay. In my bank, and be like, this is time to come home now. And I think I got to Bali and I was 2 weeks in, and I was like, there's so much more to see. Oh, God. And she was like, no, it's time to book a flight home, come on. So yeah, I came home at that point, and then which was fine, like, you know, and then all my friends were on different stages of their life. They were buying houses and they were getting married. And
how did you feel then with that?
It does get to you a little bit sometimes, because you question yourself and like, okay, have I done the right thing? Should I have done these things? But I just don't think that it would have brought me happiness. Like I said, in a relationship, I really feel like you need to work on yourself and be confident, and, you know, and just love yourself, and then you're in a place to love someone else. Like my relationships, I don't think have gone well because of that, you know. And so I was like, I know I need to do this, and this is an investment in myself.
I couldn't agree more. Like, especially about the relationships thing. It's almost, I always tell people, is once you're in a good place yourself, that's when then you're gonna attract others who will then also be in a good place for you to kind of gel with. It's almost like work on yourself and find yourself and know what you want. Yeah,
as cheesy as it sounds, but it's so true, isn't it? And it does help you find yourself.
And it's nice that you thought travel was a good self-development tool.
Yeah.
So that's good.
Yeah, I think it was. It definitely has been. I mean, I think people around me have noticed a massive change.
Yeah.
I've noticed a change, and
Did you
I wouldn't regret anything.
Good. That's the key thing, right? Did you feel ready to come home? Like, let's say your bank was bottomless cash. Would you then have stayed, or would you have come back?
I mean, if you speak to anyone that does this, they would probably say no, and I was in the same boat. I wasn't ready. I was just having such a good time, and that was obviously my first trip alone, and I was just excited. When you're on that kind of roll, when you're just like meeting new people, and I was really enjoying myself. And I think I originally planned to go to South America after that, but I had to just squash that plan and be like, okay, maybe in 2-3 years time. And I've saved up again. And Mum was like, you're not gonna buy a house? And I was like, yeah, sure. We'll see see how that goes. But I don't think it ever goes away. I think even when I came back, so I did that trip by myself, and then I actually reconnected with a friend out there, and we had such a great time, and we've just become really good friends since. So we came back and we just did trips together. We tried to make most, like, all my money went on trips, and you know,
when you came back?
When I came back. So it just changed my mindset of what I want to spend my money on, and you know, everything was like, okay, £100, how many days in Bali can I spend? That's like, you know, that's the kind of mentality I had.
Yeah.
It goes away after a little while because you do get back into, like, you know, your old ways, but yeah.
How was life adjusting to when you came back from a large 10-month travel trip back to London, back to this weather, back to gloominess in the sky? I can't remember what month you came back. I think it was summertime, wasn't it?
It was May time, so it wasn't so bad.
Yeah, it was quite hot in the summer then, probably.
I'm not gonna lie, it was hard because it obviously no one had been on this kind of trip before apart from you, so there's only so much you can talk about it before people are just like, yeah, I'm bored of it now. You know, so
you know what, I want to stop you right there. I remember that. So when you came back, I remember meeting we met up and I was like, okay, tell me everything, because I love travel stories. I love telling them and I love hearing them, right? And then you told me every single detail, and I was like, oh my God, at the edge of my seat, like, oh my God, tell me more, I can't wait, tell me more. Then what happened here? And it was just like, we talked for hours, just every little detail, and it was so nice hearing. So I actually really like travel stories. I think I can relate to it.
Yeah, like my sister's like, did you go travelling, did you? And I was like, oh my God, okay, I need to find someone else to talk to about it. But I just found that no one got it, which is totally understandable. And they couldn't relate. So there's, you know, I found it a bit of an adjustment. I found that nothing changed really. Like, you think that you go away and people's lives are going to massively progress. Things are going to change. Nothing really happened. Yeah, some people got married. Yeah, some people had babies. But, you know, life carried on and I was able to get back in. And it was, you know, it was pretty much the same.
Well, the only changes you see are within yourself.
Yeah, like I felt like I had massively changed myself, and I was just so much more confident. I've met so many different people and like so many stories and so many different people I've talked to that I think my confidence with speaking to people massively improved. So trying to get a job, I felt like that time trying to get a job was great because I was just, you know, really chatty and really like confident in my interviews, and that helped massively. But adjusting to life, it was a bit of a struggle. You know, you've had a complete mental reset and mental like break from everything, and then coming back and having to work, that's always an adjustment, but you get used to it. I think it's needed. You need it. Like, not everyone, some people just continue on and they burn out and they just they just carry on, and life gets really stressful and they just continue on, maybe with distractions, like you know, just keeping busy as a distraction, or working till later, or you know, working on, which is fine for some people, but for me, I just need that reset every now and again. I think it's really important.
There's no right or wrong.
No,
I feel
no
like
right
if that works for you, then that works for you, right? Whereas for others, it may be that they just want to continue work the long hours or whatever it is, but continue in their relationship, they're being a mother, not doing this, not doing that, or doing other things, and that's absolutely fine, right? It's just, this works really well for you, and I get it because it works very well for me.
Yeah, exactly.
So I get that. So when you came back then, you said you started interviewing and looking for jobs. So how did that go, picking up your career where you left it?
Easier than I thought it would be, because I thought that it might put off some employers from recruiting me. You know, I've had this massive break. Why
did you think it would put them off? Is that through what other people had said, or is that just your own perception?
Yeah, I mean, a little bit of what other people were saying to me, but also, you know, I've had this break and, you know, I'm out of the game for this many months. I have, you know, they know that it's going to be an adjustment for me to get back into work, and just they want someone, or maybe it seemed like to them that I'm going to go off again. I'm not really serious about this, and you know, so all these things were in my head, but it wasn't. It was absolutely fine. Like, the employers saw it as a benefit. You know, the fact that I've done this and I've challenged myself, got out of my comfort zone. You know, they've seen it as a brave thing to do, and in a lot of industries they look for people like that. You know, and I think. Yeah, it completely changed what I thought about travelling and doing it again. And it hasn't stopped me, I think, doing it again, as we'll come on to probably.
So then you got a job in...
I got a job, within like 2 months I got a job.
That's quick.
I was getting on it, you know, I had to like take a week or two out just to relax and jet lag and all that sort of stuff. And then then I got a job. And it wasn't the easiest. It was still hard in I think the place I was in my career. And there was a lot of competition out there as there always is. And so I think it was a bit difficult, but not impossible. So in the end, it worked out, as it always does,
That's good. That's for all those out there who are looking to take a little break from your career. It's always possible, right? You can always get back into it. There's always options. So there you go. So how long were you then working in your second stint of working in finance?
So I worked there for 3 years. I think 3 years nearly on the dot.
Okay. And how did that go?
That went well. It was a role that it was a bit of a jump from what I did before, so it was challenging, and that coming back from travelling and having that role.
A jump meaning like a higher level?
Yeah, high level in what I was doing. I kind of wanted to grow into a role like that, so I did, make that step. And then, so it was a bit of a challenge, but it was good. It was a good challenge. I wanted to learn, I wanted to grow, and I wanted to get that place in my career. So it worked well, but yeah. I've then 3 years later, I decided that Australia is something that I really wanted to do. I think 10 years ago, I've just been banging on about going to Australia. I don't know why. A few people that I know have been there, but I've just wanted to live there for a year, and it's been on my mind for so long. I could have done it while I was travelling.
The first time?
The first time,
yeah.
But it just wasn't the right time, and it didn't happen for whatever reason. And then it got to a stage where so there's this working holiday visa, and you have an age limit. So age limit is you have to apply before you're 31. So I was like, right, I'm doing this, and then you have a year to go. So I was like, okay, I'm doing this, and then I've got a year to just think about it, to make sure that it's the right thing. And the closer I got to that point, I was like, I need to do this. This is my only chance right now to do this, with this visa anyways. But you can get in there other ways. But so I was like, right, I'm going again.
There you go.
Yeah.
I remember when you came back from your first trip, and I remember during those 3 years of you still being in London and you saying, oh, I love Australia, I'd love to live there, and you were getting me on it. I was just like, because I actually haven't been to Australia or New Zealand. They're the two places which I really want to go to, but I would like to do a long stint of travel there. So it's not somewhere where I just want to go for 2 weeks and come back.
Yeah.
Purely maybe due to the flight, as it's such a long distance away.
Flight's so long.
Yes, I was like, I don't want to just do a 2-week trip and then jet lag, and then you've technically kind of got 10 days instead of 14.
Yeah.
So you really got me on it. And then you talked about this visa to me. I remember that, and I thought, oof, I'm going to get on that. So I started researching into it as well, and I was like, I've still got some time, still got a few years. Should I do it? Should I not? And I was at that stage in my life where I was like, oh my God, she's so inspiring.
Oh my God, I quit?
And I was like, should I quit and go as well? Like, I remember talking to my manager about it at the time and saying, look, this is where my head's at. Like, I love travel.
Yeah.
And you inspired me to kind of start thinking in that mindset as well. So it was actually really good. In the end, I didn't take that jump because I got actually offered another role elsewhere, which I took instead. Yeah. But it was, hearing you and talk about Australia, even to this day, I'm always just like, oh, I really need to go. Yeah. Maybe I'll go next year. Who knows?
I'll come with you.
Please
I'll
do.
be back.
Well, I was hoping to come and visit you this year when you went. It's just everything that's happened and travel restrictions, I've just not had a chance to come out. That would have been perfect. But please do come with me.
Yeah, I think I will.
Yeah, it'd be great. So you worked and then you decided to do your travel stint. How did that come about?
So I knew I wanted to live there. So I think traveling and like backpacking around and moving from location to location is so different compared to actually just setting up a life in one country. And that's something that I was like, it's something I wanted to do. I feel like I wanted to test myself and just see how I get along. Again, if I hated it, I would have come home. Even with backpacking, I was like, if I don't like it, I have the option of coming home, but I'm going to try it. I'm probably not, I'm going to love it. I know that. I just wanted to live there. And then I got this visa and just didn't really have a plan. I learned from the first time that I knew what city I wanted to go to because there are the few main ones that, everyone goes to. Yeah. I just wanted a beach and I wanted good, consistent hot weather. And I just wanted to live that life.
And what did your family and friends say this time around? That you've now decided to another change of direction?
This was funny actually because a lot of my friends they always keep telling me this. They're like, oh, I'm living through, you know, some people have kids and, you know, I'm not in their circumstances are a little bit different to mine. So they're unable to do this. And so they're just like, you go, girl, and I'm going to live through you. And I was like, okay, I'm doing it for you guys too. Like, and family are super supportive.
Yes.
The funny thing is actually, I think even like my mum's friends, some of them, she's been so supportive of me, and they come up to her saying, oh, you know, what's she doing? When is she going to get married? All this sort of stuff. And my mum's been like, listen, honey, she's travelling. She's living her best life.
You know what? This is the
and
one.
so that's why I was like, oh, go, mum. Thank you.
This is the one good thing about our family is that your parents, incredible, mega supportive. Like, your relationship is great. They're just incredible people. And then I reflect back on my mum and dad and how open they've been and allowed me to do this from even a younger age. And it's just, I think to myself, like, wow, how these guys are like really daring. They're just letting us go, and they're just really happy for us to do what we want to do and make sure that we're fulfilling what our desires are, right?
Yeah, they trust us.
Absolutely, and it's incredible. Like, we've got a really good family.
It's such a good family. We're blessed.
We are blessed.
Yeah,
I always think
but also
that.
it's a bit of I've had to work hard for it. Like, you know, when I was younger, they were quite strict on me, but I've rebelled a little bit.
For good reason.
But, you know, I've rebelled a little bit, and just, you know, if I think it's right, if I think it's not too out of control, I've just, you know, stood my ground and said, this is something that I need to do. Yeah. And I think they've trusted, since I've done that and, you know, come out the other end better, they've seen that. So this time round, they were just like, okay, you know what, this is good for her, she wants to do this. They get a little holiday in Australia, you know, everyone wins. So
it's interesting you said that about your mum's friends, because being especially in a kind of Asian culture, we have a lot of, oh, time is ticking, you're getting older, you're gonna get married, and it's really nice that as she would anyway, but your mum just defends you and be like, well, she's doing her thing, she's doing something she's really passionate about, enjoys, and it's going to help her in the long run. So I love that.
She's always been really supportive of that. She's never not once said to me anything about me getting married. You know, she makes jokes about, you know, it'd be nice to have kids, and I was like, okay, yeah, it would be, but we've got to get a dog. But she's been mega supportive, which has helped, and I understand that not everyone's got this kind of family, so it might be harder. Totally get that, but, you know, you've just got to do what's right for you, and if this is going to make you better, you know that inside, you just got to do it. It's your life. Yeah, you know,
it's so true.
Got to live it.
So what did you think about then as you were doing this work and travel visa in Australia, and you're in your next stage of your career, and what were your thoughts going on about, okay, well, I'm stopping my career again, or potentially continuing it in Australia, right? So what was going on there?
Yeah, I mean, I went with the mindset, so I'm obviously on a year visa, and to get a proper job that's, you know, in line with my career, I thought that it might not happen, because I am on this 1 year visa. Who's going to hire me just for 1 year? Okay. It might be hard, etc., etc. So I might have to just be open-minded with what I do with my career. But luckily I got there, and within 2 weeks, I was just that was my first priority. I was like, I want to get work now, play later, you know, then I can travel once I've got this. I don't want to use my savings from back home. I was like, I'm going to earn and then use that. So I managed to get a really good job with a really good company, totally lucked out. So yeah, that really worked out well for me when I was there. And then
just more experience on your CV, isn't it? That's great.
Yeah, it's exactly, yeah, it's really helped out with my CV. I've made connections, and I think this is, even though I've had a break after that. Yeah. So I worked up until Corona kind of started, which was, I think, April over there.
Yeah. April over there. Okay.
Yeah. Or
end of March here. Yeah.
Yeah, end of March. I think they extended my contract till I was a contractor, but I was on my way to actually becoming sponsored.
And for those listening, what does sponsored mean?
So sponsorship means that they will get you for 3 years, allow you to work with the company for 3 years, and it has a possibility of getting extended. It just allows you to have that, but you have to stay with that employer.
Oh, right. So the company pretty much invests in you and say, okay, we're going to sponsor you, therefore you get to extend your visa or whatever that...
Stay on a working visa. Yeah, you actually have the same rights as an Australian citizen. Like that's the, yeah. So I was like, you know, I had thought about that, but never really... I'd considered it, I was always open to it, but, you know, that becoming a reality, I was like, oh my God, okay, this might actually happen. I might be here for a bit longer. But unfortunately, you know, it didn't work out. But there was positives. I ended up travelling and seeing a lot, that I may have not have done. You know, everything was a lot cheaper because of Corona,
Yeah.
and Australia's done pretty well, so everything opened up pretty quickly. So it wasn't a waste. There's always a positive to it, and I've come out with experience and a bit of travel, and you know, best of both. So I've come back, you know, happy and satisfied with that.
What was your moment for when you were like, right, I'm ready to come home?
A big thing was money, so I was just like, okay, I have to be sensible now, and I wanted to come back with a good amount, you know, that I can just say I haven't just gone there and blown it all. So as soon as I lost my job, I think we were on sort of a lockdown for like a month, and then as soon as that finished, things started opening up. So I just travelled for like 4 months.
Oh wow.
And you know, as you know, you start and then there's another place to see, another I didn't book a flight back, so I had like friends living in Sydney that I can go back to, and I was just continuing, and then I was like, right, okay, I've had my fun, I can always have more fun, but I've just got to be a bit more sensible this time. And came back, and then I just spent a couple of months, I was like, I just want to spend time reading, working on myself, keeping fit, yoga. My friends live near the beach, so I literally went to the beach like every day. Surprisingly, in Sydney, everyone thinks that the beach is so nice. Everyone thinks that the beaches are around the corner. Some of them, like, you know, are half an hour, 45 minutes away. I was living city life. I practically moved my life here to another city, and then the beach was still 45 minutes away. So I just envisioned me living near the beach. So with my friends, I did that, and I was just really enjoying it. And I was like, okay, I'm just going to do this for a couple of months and then see how I feel. And my visa had run out, so that was probably the biggest reason why.
Okay.
And there's options for you to stay, but it just requires a lot more money, and maybe with everything going on, I was just like, I don't think I'd get a job as easily there.
Okay.
So it's just a safer option to come home, and sensible option. And you know, I was missing family.
We were missing you.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Just
I had that
when
from
is she
everyone.
coming home?
I know. And then I obviously surprised everyone.
Yeah.
And came back. But yeah, I felt I wanted to do it when I was ready, so I gave myself that time.
Yeah.
And you know, was fortunate enough to have friends that let me, you know, stay with them to do that. So yeah.
And would you go back?
Yes. Yeah.
That was quite quick. She was like, yes.
Sorry, Mum. Yeah. I definitely, like, I think, it's got a piece of my heart though. Like, I literally fell in love with Australia, just the life, the sea, and just everything there. It's so different to here, you know, and maybe because I knew that I was coming back, I was really, really, really enjoying it. Who knows if you're living there for a longer time, you know, the only thing is family and friends. I can't beat that. We've got such a big, good family, and we've just got so many good people around us that, you know, I'm letting that go if I stay there. So I always knew that I'm going to come back here. But, you know, if there's a way that I can stay, like, do a bit of time there every year and come back, that would be my ideal life. 6 months here, 6 months there. Yeah. Avoid the winters here.
Sounds like you need a remote job or something.
Yeah,
that might help with that.
I know.
So throughout your, well, let's say life and career and travel, you've left your job twice to pursue something that you really wanted to do and thought was right for you at that time. Now, others may be in a position where they're umming and ahhing, because I've been there myself. It's like, oof, can I really take this step and leave my job for doing this and making this change? So the question is, what advice would you give to someone like myself or someone else who's looking to make that kind of change?
I'd say, firstly, you need to speak to the right people. You need to have people around you that, you know, are not going to instill their fears on you, and ensure that you're talking to the right people, because that's obviously going to have an effect. You know, if you're speaking to people that are scared themselves, and, you know, that's their doubt. So you need to speak to people that maybe done it, like I spoke to you, and that just helped me take that kind of jump and do this. And just really try and not worry too much. I just have learned not to worry so much and really try and live in the present. Obviously, you know, it's good to plan for the future, and it's good to have some sort of plan, but also just go with the flow. You know, really think about what you want. It's really important when you're old. You're going to look back when you're older and think, okay, I've just worked my whole life, or I've just, you know, done this thing my whole life. Have I really enjoyed it? You know, you're going to look back and, maybe regret things that you didn't do. So you just internally really think about these things that you want and not try to worry too much. You know, if you remain positive, you need to work on your mindset first and really try and remain positive in everything that you do, and things will come. You know, I think that's the biggest thing. I think it's hard to do that. It's work, and you need to, like, really practice that in your daily life. I think that will help you get to where you want to be and stop yourself from, not stop yourself from doing something that you really want to do, you know? But it's easier said than done, you know. I'm not perfect myself. There are things that I want to do that maybe I'm a bit scared at the moment. Coming on a podcast, for example, you know, I was at the beginning, okay, like I've never done this before, but you do it and then you feel better because you've done it, and you can only get better, you know, you practice.
Well, you sound like a pro to me.
Oh, thanks. I can just chat for days, you know. Our family love chatting, don't they? So
Sure do.
but I'm chatting to you, and so yeah, it's easy. But just try not to worry. Come chat to us. You know, this group is great because it's gonna really inspire you, and hopefully like you've got people to talk to who've been through different things, so just like connect with these people, and they're the people that can help you make these changes in your life if you want to. If you're happy, it's fine.
That's exactly what I wanted with this Fearless Females group, as you've just mentioned. It's about allowing us to be open with each other and gain that support or inspiration from someone else, because there's always something that we're maybe not connected with in ourselves. So it's almost like when you see it in someone else or hear it from someone else, it just gives you a different perspective. So it's all about supporting each other. I like that.
Sisterhood.
Exactly. Our female sisterhood.
Yeah.
So you talked about knowing yourself or kind of finding what you want to do. Some people find that hard. It does take time to really introspect and understand what it is that you want to do, or what you want from life, or you know, that way of thinking. What has helped you with that? Is there anything in particular?
Yeah, like, so I mean, the traveling has, but the reason is because I've spent a lot of time alone, and I think some people don't like being alone, and I literally could spend hours and hours alone and really enjoy my own company and my own. You're in your own thoughts, you know. But I think some people obviously, when they are alone, that's when all the, you know, these bad thoughts come in and stuff like that. So I think meditating is a good way to like sit still and really just see what thoughts come in your head. You know, it just allows you to reflect. If you take that time out every day to reflect, it really does help you to just, you know, things come up, write things down, you know, do a bit of journaling just to see what comes up, because, you know, you might look back and just there's things that you realise. But yeah, spending time alone I think is like a really important thing, because no one can, you know, you're forced to just think. And so like going for walks and not always being around people. Some people have really hectic houses and that could just be a bit too much, you know, sometimes. Like my family is like that as well. So I think being alone was just so great in figuring things out. And
I love that. That's literally just how I've kind of managed to find myself as well. So I also love being by myself. Don't get me wrong, I'm an extrovert and you are as well. However, at the same time, I really do enjoy my time. And that's something I'm really precious of. Like I need to really secure. Absolutely. Like I need to make sure that I get that. And also the journaling piece. I haven't actually meditated. I'm going to try that. But with journaling, for me, I wake up every morning and the first thing I do is for 10 minutes or however long, just write a little bit about anything and everything. Could be from the day before, it could be something that's triggered me, could be something that I'm thinking or looking to do, and then it almost just kind of builds from that, and then you have a picture of, oh wow, like this is, you almost find yourself just through writing it out. So that has actually really, really helped me.
Also reading a lot of books. I've just been
reading is a killer one for me.
I think people have, like, now it's becoming a bit more accepted, but just like the self-help, you know, book thing. I've just read a lot of them, and yes, some of them you might not think it works or whatever, but you're going to take a piece of something from each of these books, and the more you read, the more you just learn how to work on yourself. You know, if people don't know how to, they read these books, and I think that has massively helped me. I just think just taking that time out, like I didn't watch TV in Australia, like I just didn't.
You didn't?
No, because I mean, firstly, Australian TV I wasn't really keen on, but my family are massive TV watchers, so you just end up doing that, and it's on and you end up just watching it, and I just so many hours wasted. Personally, there's obviously, you know, certain things that you can watch on TV that are really useful and you're going to gain something from it, but I think reading, just replacing an hour of TV time for reading or waking up and doing that really helps. It's just a good way to start your day. You're just going to learn a lot. You can start then speaking to our friends now. We read a lot and we talk to each other about it, and we, you know, if there's a good idea or a good thing that I think will help someone, I'll just, let you know, and it's just nice. It's nice to have that and to feel like you're working. That's the way to work on yourself.
Absolutely. Like I feel the same. So I get inspired a lot through the books that I've been reading. So I've actually been reading like about an hour a day. I've made it my thing now, but I just love reading and getting lost into the book or a story. Yeah. And more recently I've been reading books around mainly women, I'd say, but inspirational women, just to get a glimpse of, okay, how did they get to where they are, or what are they mindset? Thinking? What is their mindset? And another thing is about the inspiring pieces, podcasts. Yeah. So I've been listening to a lot of podcasts. So I've been going on a lot of walks and trying to get my 10,000 steps in every day. And you're by yourself. Sometimes I just like to be in my own thoughts, but other times, maybe for an hour, I like to listen to a podcast. And it's really interesting. Like I feel like hearing other people's stories is really inspiring, which is kind of what triggered this. Yeah. So I'm hoping other people listen to this and feel inspired to either make a change, or just it reinforces something within what they're already doing.
It just helps them to feel good,
Absolutely,
they've listened to this and feel good. Yeah, great.
Yeah.
I think, and with reading as well, I know some people find it just hard to really sit down and read for like an hour. You don't have to do an hour a day. You start off with 10 minutes, but make sure you set that 10 minutes aside and practice. Just practice having that as a part of your routine. Yeah. And as a habit, and then it'll form into something, and you'll definitely gain something out of it.
No, it's good advice. Yeah. So then tell me, what is next for Aneeka?
What is next? I mean, right now I think I'm gonna get a job. I'm going to go back into finance, and I mean I've realised I've got so many passions from like so many things that I enjoy. I knew that before, but I had a chance to do them in Australia. So I painted a lot, I'm quite creative, so there's definitely that side to me. So I want to explore that a bit and continue with that maybe on the side. But I'm going to trying to get a flat maybe at some point, a house or a flat, and so getting a job, getting that, and settling myself a little bit here, and then who knows what will be next and where I will be next when things open up. I think spending time with everyone here is my main priority at the moment, and friends and family, and enjoying life with them. And then who knows in about 3 years time, 2-3 years time, what will I want to do next. I think I've got a lot of these things. I've been really fortunate to be able to do these things, and that these are the two main things that I've wanted to do. So I'm kind of content with that, but I think I'll always travel. There's always going to be, I'll try and even a long weekend, 4 days for me as well. It's just enough to have a little time away. I even do like so many solo trips. I remember when I came back from my first travel trip, we had a big group of girls, and we always used to go together. And then I literally was like, I just want to do a trip alone again. I miss that. And then my friend booked on with me. She felt bad for me, and I was like, no, don't feel bad. Just want to go alone. So I think there'll be a bit of that, hopefully soon. Let's see, hopefully in 2021. And that's it. And then just, exploring more of what I love doing on the side, and just doing that in my spare time. Trying to make use of my spare time a bit better, I think, is where I'm going to be and what I'm going to be doing.
Well, there you go. Yeah. I love your story. I love what you're about. I love everything you've done. It's really inspiring for the rest of us cousins, let's say, to see everything you're doing and kind of paving the way. So thank you.
Oh, thank you.
And thank you so much for coming on this podcast and sharing your experiences. It's been great to have you.
It's been a pleasure.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for listening to the Fearless Females Voice podcast. Be sure to join our Facebook group called Fearless Females, and stay tuned for the next episode. Bye for now.